reign was quite better than Tony's reign.
It can never be. It can never be. In all
Are you just saying that just
no,
to spite the Ezemo who is right here in the
all
studio?
ramification, I'll give it to Tony.
You give it to Tony?
Yeah, in all ramifications.
If you're giving it to Tony, then I don't know why you should be in your space.
Because I want to. I'm human.
You're human.
Yeah, before going into a relationship, I used to be a human.
But
I used to be by myself.
I know how Ezemo used to
saying, why are we making
this
show why are you trying to make this show a Serafina's show? I don't get it. This is Game On.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You don't expect me to start talking about my relationship on air. You don't do that, man. If you want to hear about me,
I know there are times when you've asked me if I've proposed.
Yeah, I do, because I know you are in a serious relationship with someone, and it's a matter of time before we just go and eat rice. So. All right.
But Serafina, I got love for you.
I know.
Even though you've just been not yourself lately, but I'll allow you be in your space, and when you come out, I'll be waiting for you. But great to be here as always on a Friday like this. Let's talk football. It's Game On, people, I'm ready to go.
Okay, time to welcome this young man.
Why is this man pushing me now? Why is he pushing me?
So, did I just say Tony?
Tony has entered your head, and he's the one pushing me.
Chidi, welcome.
Tony, pass if you want to pass.
Ezemo, welcome.
You see, Serafina is all lit up. Just at the sight of Tony, she's already excited. Mike, interesting.
You know, see the move when you just that. I said I get the studio.
I want to say something now. I want to say something now.
Please go ahead.
Shout out to Mike, our tech guy. Please focus the camera on me. I know we're streaming live on Facebook, Nigeria Info FM.
What I'm going
to say now will go down in history. What I'm going to say now will be remembered for ages. What the Ezemo of sports is going to say now will be talked about
for years to come
by people who will live after me. Focus the camera on me. The elder.
Yeah.
You look like an X-Man.
Yeah, I am an X-Man.
Tony, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I've not started. Can you imagine? I just started.
Tony, welcome to the show.
There are people who are in traffic who want to hear what I want to say.
Chidi, not today, please.
Chidi, please.
You're not important, Rafina. You're not important on this show.
Wow.
Is that true?
Tony, welcome to the show. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, I'm pleased to be here. It's being a very, very busy day for me.
Tick voice to one thing. Say what you want to say now. Let's analyze.
Let's analyze. Analysis is okay.
You know what? I stepped into the studio.
It's great to be here.
Elder.
It's great to be here.
Overdose.
Now only you get tick voice.
Overdose.
Oh, God, back where?
Overdose.
Overdose. I'm hearing you.
I want to tell you something I've never told you. I'm talking. I want to tell you something I've never told you before.
Talk to me.
See, the combo.
You want to talk Mumuti anytime when you make mass
the combo of the Ezemo sport and
Overdose. You are on his side.
I'm talking.
No. You're on his side.
But please, when you're talking, don't do deep voice. Do light voice.
Humans, I'm talking.
Don't do deep voice.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Overdose. Overdose. I saw a vision about you today. It was such a glorious vision.
Can we talk about the vision later? Let him just intro himself, please.
Yeah. Yeah, Chidi, you have to be patient. Learn patience. It's a virtue, yeah?
All right.
But, yeah, pleased to be here. The Nougat Games flags off today. The flag off ceremony is today, but the games proper start.
Introduce yourself. You can talk Nougat Games. I say introduce yourself. You are saying Nougat Games.
I am.
You are saying what? What do you want to say?
Anthony,
let me explain myself.
This is a disrespect to the former SNY, and she still has a little bit of me in her. I left a little bit of me in her. A little touch.
I beg.
May you never be found in sins.
You did not leave any bit of you, please. I don't like that. Please don't come and set me up on this show. Guys, I am off all their mics. Now, let's talk. Something's wrong with this young man. Which is you left a little bit of no. You saying he didn't? Please. So guys, let's talk about CAF because the Confederation of African Football earlier today gave their support to the decision of the FIFA Congress to conduct a visibility study for the World Cup every 2 years. CAF is the first confederation to officially and publicly approve the controversial plan to hold a World Cup every 2 years at the same pace as its African Cup of Nations tournament. Earlier today, just like I mentioned, there was quite a number of conversations. So let's quickly hear from the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino. He was out there in Cameroon now, Egypt rather, during the conversations and all that. Let's hear from him. Also, we're hearing from him as regards the controversial Super League out here in Africa before we switch gears and talk about the president of CAF, Mosepe. We've got quite a lot to talk about on the local scene this evening, so let's quickly hear from the president of CAF on the reason behind the 2-year World Cup plan.
We need a World Cup every 2 years. Why? Well, because we need to protect football. And we need to make sure that football remains relevant for our young generation. And I would say particularly in a continent like Africa, where 40% of the population is below 15 years of age. We need to think about the future. We need to think, how can we make our sport more enthusiastic, more relevant for the young generation? Those who are against are those who are at the top. It happens in every sector of life. When there are reforms and changes, those who are at the top, they don't want anything to change because they are at the top. They are afraid maybe that if something changes, their leadership position is at risk. We understand that. And we compliment and applaud them for having been so successful in reaching the top. But at the same time, we cannot close the door. We need to keep the door open. We need to give hope. We need to give opportunities to the entire world. 40 countries in Africa have been fighting in order to get 10 group winners, and even the 10 group winners are not qualified yet for the World Cup. So another 2 games will decide on the 5 who go to the World Cup, and those who don't qualify, they have to wait 4 years for the next World Cup. So we need to give more opportunities to all the teams to play with each other, but we need to offer more chances and opportunities for world football, for African football to shine at the world stage.
He also spoke on the reason for a CAF Super League, for a Super League out here in Africa, after the conversation about the European Super League out there in Europe. Let's hear from him as well.
The Pan-African Super League. We have been speaking about national teams, which are the heart of every one of us. We are all fans of our country, but we need to speak as well about club football, about how can we make club football in Africa better. It is important that we think about new ways of projecting African football, not only in Africa, but as a global event. The passion, the talent that there is in Africa is unequaled in the world. And we need to show this to the world, and when we can show this if we have the right stage for the best African clubs to shine on a regular basis in Africa and all over the world, to be able to maintain talent, to be able to generate revenues which can be reinvested in the game. So count on the full support of FIFA, of course, when developing club competitions and Pan-African Super League for the future of African football.
So during the Congress earlier today, one of a journalist from South Africa asked the president of CAF, Mosepe, what happens to the Afcon if they go ahead to stage a World Cup every 2 years. Let's hear from him.
The prime competition, the main competition for Africa, which is Afcon, will definitely continue. Part of the process is to ensure that the players do not play more matches or more games than they did historically. And there will be a fundamental review of the competitions and of the, as well as of the structure that has existed over many years. But I can almost assure you that in this review of the competitions in totality, there will be a focus on ensuring that the competitions of the future are the most exciting and the most popular, and the ones that the viewers and the spectators find to be most attractive.
So I have listened to the president of CAF when he was asked about what will happen to the Afcon if they go ahead to stage a World Cup every 2 years. I've listened to his response over and over again, and I can't understand what is said or what he meant by that particular response. Now, guys, the question is, what will happen to the Afcon should the World Cup be staged every 2 years? Remember, there's no conversation around staging the Euros 2 years, in another 2 years. Rather, it's still the 4-year format. Now, for the Euros happen to be the biggest competition out there in Europe, when you not talking about club football at this point, talking about national team football. And the Afcon happens to be our own World Cup year in Africa. If you're staging the World Cup every 2 years, the Afcon is played between January and February. And while the Afcon is still ongoing, you still have league football going on, which means that the African players will still have to return to their various clubs to complete the league season, which ends sometime in May. And the World Cup normally is slated for June. So you return back to your club in May. You don't even have enough time to rest before going in for another tournament, which you will play, and you have less than 3 months to rest before going in for the league season. Over those, where does this whole thing live? How's your mind working?
You know, I'm quite confused, especially when you look at the fact that, first off, the FIFA president Infantino talked about a 2-year plan, saying that, yes, we have talent in Africa. And I begin to wonder, yes, we have talents in Africa. He's right about that. But then, is making the World Cup a 2-year event going to increase the potential, or going to increase or expand that talent? The answer is no, and I'll tell you why. The World Cup is a 4-year tournament. Now, if you make sure or you work towards it being a 2-year competition, that automatically eliminates the Afcon. And if it eliminates the Afcon, that's like taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back.
It doesn't eliminate the Afcon.
It does.
No.
I'll tell you why. Because if you play the Afcon early in that same year where there's a World Cup, how would the players still cope with league football and then come again to play another tournament known as the World Cup? Why doesn't the Euros shift also to a 2-year plan? Since we want to make everything 2 years, the Euros is every 4 years. The Olympic Games is every 4 years. Leave the World Cup at every 4 years. What you can do is to increase the number of spots of African teams. Like I told Lydia on Sunday,
I think they should change their qualification format.
5 teams coming from Africa to represent the continent at the World Cup is very small. When you look at the fact that you're giving Europe 16 slots and you're giving Africa just 5 slots, if you feel that you have so much talent in Africa and you want to increase it, then of course increase the number of teams that will qualify from the African continent to maybe 8 or 10 slots.
It will increase by 2026.
It will increase
by 2026.
Fine, but then why now making it a 2-year tournament? These players are not machines, Tony. It's just like telling me. It's just like telling me that a player like Sadio Mane will play for Liverpool, then he will play at the Afcon, and then go back to Liverpool, and then from there play at the World Cup. Where's the time for him to rest?
Go back to the league season again.
Yeah, exactly.
But overdose. I mean, this decision have not been, ratified by the general body.
But the way it's going, it's not fair. It doesn't sound reasonable.
See. I don't begrudge anyone, all right, coming up with a plan. We have different plans, and he talked about something. I mean, this competition has been this way since 1930.
Yeah.
All right. There's a need for change. Change is constant.
Change.
All right. Listen.
Okay. Let's make it every 6 months. No. Since there's a change, is the only thing.
Overdose.
Let's reduce the format and make it every 6 months.
Players want more money. They want more activity. They want.
And so then tell you.
They want more chances.
I feel, and this is me being.
You know what
being
he said?
Frank, I feel that Africa is like what now a specimen just to test, because
now
you look at the Super League. He talked about the Super League, and you talk about Africa having talents. You want to bring the Super League,
but you couldn't do it in Europe.
Couldn't do it in Europe. So who are you trying to deceive? You feel Africa is the lesser continent. Oh, let's just try them, and they'll jump at it.
And
but then European clubs.
And Mosepe,
it just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all.
You know what?
And that's why it's painful. Because they feel Africa, it's Africa, let's treat them however we want to. While the elites, the Europeans, the Asians, and those who are, of course, powerhouses, so-called, in the world of football. And I don't blame them. It's the fact that African teams are yet to make their mark on the World Cup. If an African team or African teams get to the quarterfinal, the semi-finals, then we can even say, okay, fine, let's even increase the number of slots. But African teams get eliminated in the group stage, some even the second round. So you just look at them and say, these guys are not serious. So let them wait another 4 years to come back.
Overdose, we are serious here, so we need to pay the bills. We'll be right back.
Let's go.
I enjoy Joseph for those.
football head coach or manager, to have a clear idea of how my team should play. This can be more the Pep Guardiola style, or the Diego Simeone style, or the Hansi Flick style, or the Jürgen Nagelsmann style, or the Jürgen Klopp style. Those are variations, different areas where Pep Guardiola is more the kind of coach who likes technical players, whereas Jürgen Klopp more likes the heavy metal band players, you know. But what they all have in common is that they exactly know how this kind of football they want to play, what it looks like. They have in their brains the video of the perfect game. They have it in their minds and on their minds. And the job of a football manager is to transform this idea of football into the heads, hearts, brains, veins of your players.
The voice of Ralf Rangnick when he was talking about the job of a football manager or coach. And also, some of the top managers out there in England have been reacting, starting with Jurgen Klopp. It says other managers are in trouble now that Ralf is coming to the Premier League.
Unfortunately, a good coach is coming to England, so that's how it is to Manchester United. So Ralf is obviously a really experienced manager, built most famously two clubs from nowhere to proper threats and proper forces in Germany with Hoffenheim and Leipzig. Did a lot of different jobs in football, and now, but it was always his first concern was always being a coach, actually being a manager, and that's what his best skill is. Obviously, that's obviously not good news for other teams. But all coaches in the world, we need time to train with our teams, and Ralf will pretty quick realize he has no time to train because they play all the time. So that makes it a bit trickier for him. But apart from that, a really good in the football world in Germany. He's very well regarded, and rightly so.
For the Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel, he has revealed that his fellow German was a huge influence and one of the main figures behind his decision to become a coach. Let's hear from him.
He helped me a lot because he was my coach, and then he was one of the main figures to convince me to try coaching. So he had a huge influence on all of us at this time, because he showed us that it's not necessary to follow people to the toilet in football games, because that was the belief in these days, that the defenders follow their strikers wherever they go. And he showed us that it's possible to defend everybody in a zone. But listen, I mean, before I get carried away and talk too much, he is not appointed yet, and let's respect everybody. Let's respect Ralf, his decision, and the club's decision, and when things are done, then we can maybe talk about it.
Now talking about Ralf Rangnick, a lot of people have been talking about how he influenced some of the top managers. Also, the manager of RB Leipzig has come out to talk about him in a very, very good manner. And they've given him accolades when you talk about the Gengen pressing, which we see from Liverpool. So, Tony, quickly, before I hook up with Unity, because this part of the show is brought to you by our friends at Bet Bonanza. Unity is already standing by. Before I connect with her, Tony, looking